Hey, Woody Harrelson's back at it again. Woody Harrelson is back at it. Here he is. Woody Harrelson slams COVID set protocols, that means movie set on movie sets, as nonsense. He urges Hollywood to stop forcing vaccination. That's not a free country. Now, he's correct on all this. He's not the best spokesman. He doesn't really make the right argument, but he's correct. And I appreciate him sticking his chin out because he's correct and he's going against a cult. Because these mandates and these masks and all the stuff that they do on Hollywood movie sets are not based on science. They're based on politics. There's no science to any of it, as we've proven. So Woody Harrelson railed against COVID protocols on film sets. The actor is making the press rounds in support of his new movie Champions, an indie sports dramedy from director Bobby Fairley. So that's Peter Fairley's brother. Right. And it's backed by Focus Features. Harrelson expressed uncertainty about the future of indie movies, given all the COVID protocols in place, calling such protocols absurd. What's absurd about the COVID protocols? The New York Times.
Well, the pandemic's over, I think, for one thing.
How about that? All the studies are in, masks don't make a difference, and that this vaccine doesn't stop transmission.
That's why you're in danger from the unvaccinated.
That if the vaccine stopped you from getting COVID, you wouldn't be afraid of non-vaccinated people. I don't worry when I get into an elevator that somebody on that elevator hasn't been vaccinated for polio, because I've been vaccinated for polio. So all the logic they used to do this was anti-logic. They were dumber than the Trumpers they claimed were dumb. They say, oh, the Trumpers, they don't listen to science. They're dumb. They're conspiracy theory. People who vote Democrat and are for these COVID restrictions are just as anti-science as anybody they've ever ridiculed in their life.
We got a lot of neurotic Howie Mandel germaphobe types.
That's right. And they crave lockdowns, Kurt.
And a lot of people that live with their parents really are into it. I don't want to rat out how I know, but just say how somebody I know works at a place and half the people there are underpaid but very arrogant people. They're all like late 30s living with their parents, and they're insane about plenty of cats too, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're not worried about COVID with that.
So when they asked him what's absurd about COVID protocols, Woody Harrelson responded poorly. He said this. He said, the fact that they're still going on. Okay, that's good. The actor responded, I don't think that anybody should have the right to demand that you're forced to do the testing, forced to wear the mask, and forced to get vaccinated 3 years on. I'm just like, let's be done with this nonsense. It's not fair to the crews. I don't have to wear the mask. Why should they? Why should they have to be vaccinated? How's that not up to the individual? Well, tell them he doesn't give you the science because of the science.
By the way, he might have, but they just took that. It's very possible.
You might have an argument. You might have an argument if the science supported it, that if people got vaccinated, we could get rid of this pandemic. That's never going to happen. The virus is it's always going to be here, and you're going to catch it. Everybody's going to catch it. There's no not catching it. So that's why vaccine mandates make no sense, because everybody's going to get it. And you know who said that? Dr. Fauci said that. And Joe Biden's head of the COVID response also said that everybody's going to get COVID. If you haven't already, you're going to get it. There's no not getting it.
Then why'd they make these rules if they said that?
So that's what I wished Woody would have said. That everybody's going to get it. The vaccines don't stop transmission. Everyone's going to get it. That's why they make no sense, to force you to take an experimental medical procedure with no long-term studies. And he could have also said nobody was fully informed, because we found out a year and a half later that Pfizer never even tested to see if they stopped transmission, meaning the vaccines. So I would argue people weren't fully informed. He didn't say make any of those. He just said, I don't have to wear it, so why should you? It's 3 years in. So those aren't actual arguments. That's kind of an argument.
Actually, it is, because why doesn't he have to?
That is. The star doesn't have to wear it. I know. That is an argument. It is true. He could have made better ones. And by the way, I'm I'm really not critical of him in this. Woody Harrelson, he's doing a great job. He's sticking his chin out. He's showing courage, and he's standing up for the lesser. He doesn't have to wear a mask. He doesn't have to do all this stuff. But the people who work around him do, and he's actually standing up for them, and he's standing up for common sense and sanity. So good for him. And I just want to make the case better. And maybe next time he will make it better. He said, how's that not up to the individual? Why should they have to be vaccinated? I shouldn't be talking about this shit. It makes me angry for the crew. This anarchist part of me, I don't feel that we should have forced testing, forced masking, and forced vaccination. That's not a free country. Really, I'm talking about the crew because I can get out of wearing a mask. I can test less. I'm not in the same position they're in, but it's wrong. It's 3 years. Stop. As an anarchist, I don't do well with mandates, he concluded. Harrelson's New York Times interview published shortly before his stint hosting Saturday Night Live on February 25th. The actor generated controversy for his opening monologue, which built to a polarizing COVID conspiracy joke. They got to say conspiracy. They got to say that. Harrelson spent the majority of his monologue touting the craziest script he ever read. So they're going to call this a conspiracy instead of just a theory. Or just an observation of what actually happened. This isn't a conspiracy. This is an observation.
Hey, so the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over.
That is a factual. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is just an observation of society. The big drug cartels, Big Pharma, got together. They own the media and the government. And they are the ones who dictated the policy during COVID, not actual scientists or doctors doing due diligence. It was bought and paid for criminals like Dr. Fauci and Dr. Collins and Walensky at the CDC, who are bought and paid for criminals, criminal liars. And that's not hyperbole. Fauci should have been in prison over AIDS, let alone COVID. He's admitted to lying 1 million times. Fauci's admitted to lying about masks. He's admitted to lying about herd immunity. They lied about natural immunity. They lied about transmission, contraction. They lied about everything. But he's the conspiracy theorist, according to Variety magazine. It's interesting. I wonder where Variety gets their money. It's not hard to see Harrelson was making a comment on COVID vaccine mandates, which he more directly railed against in his New York Times interview. The actor's latest movie is Champions. It opens at the theater on March 10th. I love how they call this crazy actor is pushing a wild conspiracy theory about Big Pharma as a drug cartel, but we're still Variety. So here's when his movie's coming out. Tim Robbins got his back. Tim Robbins supports him. He says Woody is right. Time to end the charade. SAG-AFTRA Actors Equity. So that would be on television and on film, and then this would be on stage. Tim Robbins still won't return my email, but I know he loves me because I love him. Great job, Tim Robbins. And Susan Sarandon was mental for leaving you. How about that? That's how much I love you. Where's Susan Sarandon on this? Interesting. Haven't heard much from her.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't. Maybe she has. Have anybody heard anything?
No, but I will let you know that Fran Drescher came out at the SAG Awards, and she also talked about, she said, she also again called for an end to the industry's COVID vaccination mandate, which gives employers the right to require vaccinations as a condition. And she said, and as this nation declares an end to COVID emergency in May, I hope we will see everyone return to work and equal opportunity, ! So she's been vocal as well.
Because it's crazy they can keep having this go. I mean,
it's crazy. There couldn't be less science about it. There's nothing. It's anti-science. Never made sense. And I knew 2 years ago that the vaccine mandates made no sense. Let's say a year and a half. Here's what
they always make no sense out of the gate because If it works, then why do you need that?
That's exactly.
I'm going to be fine. I got my shots. I don't care what you did.
I always said, if you should get your vaccine, it'll protect you. But I'll have to say, else YouTube would take my channel down, that the vaccine is safe and effective, and it does slow the transmission and contraction, and it'll keep you from getting seriously ill or hospitalized or death. That's YouTube science is better than your science.
Then that means, why do I need a mask then?
Look what they did to him. So he makes a point. Woody makes a point about how the drug cartels bought the media, and then the media immediately repeat the smears against them ubiquitously.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Brought to you by Woody Harrelson's at anti-vax conspiracies, COVID conspiracies, anti-vax conspiracy, Variety, Huffington Post, Rolling Stone. What is that?
Daily Beast.
Daily Beast. They're just, it's ubiquitous.
Every one of them is awful. And
They're
has
all
always been an awful publication.
Well, all corporate media sucks.
Well, didn't Rolling Stone at one point have Matt Taibbi and
at one point,
Hunter S. Thompson? And,
at one point, but it's all over. When Bill Clinton deregulated the media, it's all over.
God, remember that dim bulb Jan Wenner on Rogan? Be like, well, we got a really safe drug supply.
Yes.
You moron.
You moron.
Oh, my God.
If you want to see my stand-up special, become a member at jimmydore.com. It's only $10, and come see our live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Honolulu, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohost, New York, Hartford, and more.